In my home office, behind me on video calls, people often notice a few old photos and posters. And the one that I get asked about the most is this particular photo, Maslow hierarchy of human needs. Now, as someone who's responsible for building products that reach billions of people, I personally have always found Maslow's pyramid to be one of the most extensible frameworks for thinking about truly what humans universally need. Now, sure, no framework is perfect, right? But if you set aside any of the critiques, academic, historic, aside for just one particular moment, I think that we can all agree that it is directionally right. That once as human beings, our needs for food, for water, for safety are met, that our desire for love and belonging and being social kicks in. Humans inherently want to be social, right? Our desire to connect has been one of the greatest drivers of our ability to innovate and our ability to build over the course of human history. Think about it. It's what gave birth to different forms of communication. Communication and community share the same Latin root meaning common or shared by all. Which is why for as long as there have been humans and we have inherently been tool builders, we've built tools to help us communicate. Now, one of the first great minds to study all of these communication tools that we've built over the years was Canadian professor Marshall McLuhan. In his 1960s classic, Understanding Media, he famously wrote, "The medium is the message." Now, what he meant was that the medium, right, the tool that we actually use to communicate, ultimately shape us as human beings, as individuals, and more collectively as a society, more so than the messages that we are actually sending across those mediums. So across a few dozen chapters, McLuhan walks us through the history of different types of media, from speech all the way to the television, which was essentially the last big media in 1960s when he wrote this book. Now, it's a fascinating book. But the part that I find the most relevant right now, as we're sitting here, are the early chapters, chapters 2 and 3, where he introduces this concept of hot and cold media. Now, a cold medium, like a phone call to him back in the day, invites participation. You have to lean in, you have to interpret, you have to engage, you have to fill in the gaps in order to derive meaning from that medium. Hot mediums, back in the day, it was the radio to him. It does the work for you. It's one way, you're leaning back, you're consuming, you actually really don't have to engage in order to derive meaning from that particular media. Now, McLuhan believed that the types of mediums that we used, hot or cold, really shaped and impacted how connected or not we as human beings felt after we used those mediums and those tools to communicate with each other. And at scale, that feeling of connection, or frankly, that lack of it, has a profound impact on our society and our culture writ large. Now remember, McLuhan never saw the digital age. Like, his book was published in 1964 when television ruled the world. So he didn't know scale in the way that we know scale. But while he did predict it, he never saw the real scale that digital was going to bring, but I wanted to talk about that for a second. Now, McLuhan lived just long enough to witness the dawn of the first digital social era, as I call it, the bulletin board systems. Now, this was powered by modems and early computers. If you were an 80s baby like myself, they connected maybe 20 million people around the world at their peak at any given time, which isn't bad for back then. But by the time the late 90s rolled around, and fueled definitely by the emergence of broadband internet, we witnessed the rise of social networking as we know it today, right? This was the second great era of social online. It has now scaled to over 3 billion monthly users. And then more recently, the 2010s, this was a mobile-first social era. This was powered by the adoption and the proliferation of the smartphone. So as we sit here right now, messaging is dominant, right? It is where our deep social interactions happen online. And that is true for more than 3 billion people and growing around the world right now. It happens in Messenger, it happens in WhatsApp, Instagram, Direct, iMessage, Snapchat, you name it. Now, if you step back for a second, the pattern across all these different social eras is very, very clear. One, every single one of them was triggered by a transformative technology that emerged. Two, every single era built on the successes of the past era while also fixing their limitations, which is exactly what you want from things if we are making progress. And then last but not least, three, every single one of them brought more people online, which is why that if you are someone who loves building new communication tools or mediums like I do, you can feel right now that we're standing on the edge and the precipice of something great, right? This is a next era that is fueled by the current phase of AI. Now, what I don't know is, will this be the era and the S-curve that finally lets us serve everyone, right? Meaning that a tool that we build that 8 billion people on this planet have the opportunity to use. I don't know. But what I am sure of right now is that regardless of what this AI-enabled 8 billion person social application looks like, the capital and the creativity right now being poured into building the infrastructure for this scale is staggering. So let's take a beat to talk about this for a second. Now, under the ocean right now, there are new subsea cables that are being laid. These are strands of glass that are connecting every single continent around the world. And earlier this year, Meta really got into the game when we announced Project Waterworth. This is a multi-billion-dollar, multi-year investment that's going to strengthen the scale and the reliability of the world's digital highways by opening up 3 new oceanic corridors with abundant, high-speed connectivity that is truly needed to drive AI innovation around the world. Now, once this is complete, this project is going to reach 5 major continents and span over 50,000 kilometers. That's longer than the Earth's circumference, just to be clear here, making it the world's largest subsea cable project using high capacity, the technology that we have that's available right now we're excited about. Now, as we prepare for AI to transform industries and societies around the world, it's really clear that the capacity, the resilience, the global reach that we have and that we need to put into place right now are more important than ever to support this leading infrastructure. And with Project Waterworth, we can help ensure that the benefits of AI and any other emerging technology, frankly, are available to everyone, regardless of where they live or where they work. So that's below the ground scale. Let's for a second pop up and talk about the above the ground massive scale that we're seeing in the data centers that are coming online to power this next wave. Many of you will remember back in December last year, Meta announced that we are building our largest data center to date in Richland Parish, Louisiana. Now, that data center was going to be a part of the global infrastructure that many of us in this particular room are watching right now are bringing online over the course of the next few years to ensure that our AI technologies and our programs truly come to life. Now, this one for us is going to play a vital role in accelerating our AI progress. It's delivering over 2 gigawatts of compute capacity to train future open source large language models, which of course is something that we've been committed to and excited by from a Meta perspective. Now, to contextualize the scale, earlier this year, we superimposed the footprint of this data center over Manhattan, which is what you're seeing right now. So we have subsea investments and above ground investments that are at massive scale right now that are underway, despite the fact that no one knows exactly what that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 billion user social product in this AI era is going to be. We all have a few early hypotheses. There are a few that I personally can't stop thinking about. Every single one of them, unsurprisingly, is aligned with Maslow's hierarchy. Let's talk about the first one. AI is going to transform our conversations. AI is giving us the ability to talk to anyone in any language in real time around the world. It's pretty profound. Let's check out this quick clip from a recent Jimmy Fallon episode where he uses Google AI to facilitate a conversation between a native Spanish speaker and himself.
Hola, Sofía. Hola, Jimmy.
Hola, Karen. All right, so we'll turn on the translation feature. I head to Call Assist, Voice Translate, choose the language, and...
Call is translated by Google AI. In each speaker's voice, audio is not saved.
Hi, Karen. Can you hear me? Does this work?
Hola, Karen. ¿Puedes oírme? ¿Funciona esto?
Hola. What's up? Hello. Yon. I'm the crazy person listening to you in Spanish.
Okay, this is really cool. I can't believe how fast it's working.
Esto es realmente genial. No puedo creer lo rápido que está funcionando.
Now, it's technology like this that's increasing the quantity of conversations that are possible for any one person to have by removing the language barrier. You overnight can talk to hundreds of millions, if not even billions more people who you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. But it's just not about quantity, it's about quality. On the accessibility front, hearables are being enhanced by AI, are going to let us better tune in our attention to someone who we're in conversations with in a crowded space, a crowded room, or outdoors to make us better listeners. Take a look at this video. These are 2 gentlemen who are going to dinner. If anyone's gone to dinner in a city, you know how noisy the street front is, how frankly noisy even inside the restaurant might be. But with one click, he's able to turn on conversation focus and allows him to really hone in and hear the person who he's in deep conversation with and blocking out all the rest of the noise. Again, the quality of our conversations are frankly tipped by the amount of ability to actually listen and listen well and hear our other people. The second hypothesis that I'm excited by is that AI is going to change our relationships with content. We're entering this age of content freedom, where content experiences are dynamic, they are personal, they are intuitive. On the consumption side, AI can upscale images, fix resolution. They're doing fascinating things, generate videos. Frankly, you're going to hear more about this a little bit later with the super resolution talk that we're going to have. But consumption truly isn't the only story. AI is reducing the complexity of creation. And the result is more and more people's imaginations are being brought to life for all of us to appreciate and explore. A little aside, every night my son, who is 4, and I use AI to bring his wildest, most creative ideas to life. It is generally in the zone of 2 random animals playing some random sport in some random location. But it's pure joy. He is so excited about it, and he's flexing these new creative muscles and being able to bring it to life in a way that, frankly, I couldn't have done when I was 4. And all of this is powered by AI. But it's not just all about images and videos. I'm really encouraged by tools like Gizmo that you see here that are democratizing coding, right? Letting anybody with an idea and no formal coding skills turn their words and their ideas and their creativity into playable games or shareable widgets for all of us to consume and to enjoy. Play around with these tools. They are unlocking new forms of kind of content creation and interactivity in ways that are just fun and delightful, and I'm excited about this particular future. The last hypothesis that I have, and the one that I'm probably the most excited about, is that AI is going to improve our relationships with others and ourselves. There's this whole category of startups that you're seeing right now pop up in the Valley and around the world that are pulling digital information from around the web to nudge you into meaningful conversations with the people that you care most about. They are offering you useful context before a conversation just to make sure that you are reminded of what matters to the person you are about to reconnect with. And that is powerful. Many of you probably are messaging with your partner, or significant other, or your best friend, and you have a reel from Facebook or IG that you haven't quite got to yet. Before you engage with them, a little nudge to remind you to watch the reel that they sent out to you isn't a bad thing. So ultimately, really, really excited about this ability for AI to continue to make sure that you don't forget how to connect with people. But it's not replacing connection. I do think that this is enhancing connection. There's also something a little harder for people to wrap their heads around right now that also is emerging. You see it here in this video with Reid Hoffman, who has been really using LLMs to talk to older versions of himself, to give his older versions of himself advice, and to learn a little bit more about himself. People, frankly, are using AI to deepen their understanding about themselves and their relationship with themselves. Now, back to Maslow's hierarchy for a bit. Once our social and our self-esteem needs are met, the highest level of need and the deepest kind of desire that we have as human beings is self-actualization. This is doing the work to become the most complete, authentic version of yourself. And oftentimes that requires you to truly understand yourself. Now, AI's ability to help us see patterns and take data from a bunch of different sources across our lives, just to synthesize them and have them reflect our values, our habits, and our growth back to us, is a very real lever for self-actualization and for understanding ourselves a little bit better. Now, if we can give everybody the ability to know themselves a little bit better, to bring out a better versions of themselves, think about the profound impact it will have on society and how we relate to each other. In fact, it might be one of the most powerful tools for self-understanding and connection that humanity has ever built. Which brings me full circle back to McLuhan and the importance of connection. As I mentioned, McLuhan wrote about hot and cold media. Cold media, it draws us in. It makes us participate in order to get meaning from the particular medium. Hot media, it does all the work for us. It keeps us passive, keeps us kind of a little bit a step removed from the actual connection. Now, McLuhan's warning was clear. He's like, when communication becomes one way, when it becomes too hot, connection weakens. And ultimately, and potentially, society starts to suffer. Now, I'm not sure what McLuhan would have made of any of the infinite AI-generated short-form video games or content that I talked about making with my son earlier. But if he thought that the radio was a hot medium, I can only imagine what his take is right now. Now, at Meta, I want to be really clear. Our mission is to build the future of human connection. And as the world's largest social network, I believe we have not just the opportunity, but the imperative to make sure connection thrives because of AI and not despite it. Now, we've started to talk more and more about our vision for personal superintelligence because the future of AI must be about connection, not just content. As profound as the abundance produced by AI might one day be, even more meaningful on our lives will be likely that everyone having a personal superintelligence helps them achieve their goals, to be a better friend, a partner, a spouse, a neighbor for those that you care about, and to grow and to become the person that you aspire to be. Now, this intersection of technology and how people live is Meta's focus. It always has been. And this will only become more important in the future. If trends continue, then you'd expect people to spend more time connecting through content and conversations, and that's a powerful future for us to build. Now, personal superintelligence that knows us deeply, understands our goals, it can help us achieve them, will by far be the most useful. And that's what we're building towards, and I hope it's a North Star that you all will keep in sight too. Thank you, and have a great conference.